Every once in a while, there's a tool that doesn't just make your work easier, it becomes part of your creative DNA. For me, that's been Canva. I started using Canva, I think back in 2013 or maybe 14, back when most of us were still performing emotional gymnastics with clunky design software. And from that moment, I was hooked. My current website frames right now live on Canva. My reels, my podcasts, my event invites, even the season's greetings that I've made are proudly designed there. Now, it's honestly become my creative oxygen, the place where every idea I've ever had found its visual voice. So it's a tool that's seen me through every season of creativity, of late night brainstorming, or last minute campaign miracles. I've done it all on Canva. So when I was putting together my Loyalty Talks podcast bucket list of dream guests and dream brands, I knew that where customer love truly blooms and blossoms, Canva was right at the top. I wished for one guest from Canva, and clearly the design gods heard me loud and clear. So, because in true Canva fashion, a brand that doubles creativity, doubles accessibility, and frankly, doubles happiness, they doubled my wish too. Today's episode is extra special because we are talking about a brand that not only democratized design, but it is now stepping boldly into the world of AI and doing it with the same customer-first heart that made us all fall in love with Canva in the first place. And who better to unpack that journey with me? We have two incredible women who are driving customer love and community at Canva. Yes, I mean women, not one, but two wonderful ladies who have joined me today, Mel Conford and Crystal Anderson. Welcome to the podcast, ladies. I'm beyond thrilled to finally record this session with you guys.
Thank you, Aparna, for the wonderful introduction. We are so thrilled to be here, and that was just amazing. Thank you.
I'm super excited to be here. Can't wait to kind of dive into the topic that we have.
Awesome. Now, you've both built such inspiring careers in customer advocacy. How did your roles evolve into what they are today?
I'm happy to start. So, truthfully, my background is in media and journalism. I started as a journalist over 15 years ago. I have worked in magazines and run digital newsrooms, and that was always my passion. I was always so passionate about community and audiences and content and storytelling. I have been with Canva for over 5 years. And when I started with the company, it was in the B2C world before customer marketing really had a tagline, certainly in Australia, is to be a growing function globally, but still really building here in APJ. And I was telling stories within our B2C community and really amplifying those through our marketing. So it really stems from the top as well. Our CEO and one of our co-founders, Melanie Perkins, is so passionate about our community, and Mel really wanted to help us celebrate and elevate those incredible stories through students and not-for-profits and, startups, small business owners doing these incredible things with Canva. So I just loved hearing all those wonderful things in your intro of how Canva's helping you. And then that shifted probably over 3 years ago when we started to build our Canva Enterprise solution. So now we're very much focused, Crystal and myself, and really helping to build advocacy within enterprise organizations specifically. So it's kind of creating that, new storytelling focus, but then speaking to those key B2B buyers, but still very much putting community at the heart of what we do.
Wonderful. Actually, we are also enterprise users. So I started using Canva personally a long time ago, but just this year we've onboarded as an enterprise. So we are using it at our company also. So yeah, Crystal.
Yeah, so I've been in the customer marketing world for over a decade now. That's a really long time. I've had a very interesting marketing journey. To give you a little background, I basically fell into marketing almost immediately after college, starting out in marketing ops, and really slowly working my way into a global marketing manager position with an enterprise B2B company. After almost 8 years at this company, I realized I wanted to gain some experience in the startup world to expand my marketing knowledge. And so I moved into a demand gen position at a B2B startup. And this move really allowed me to hone my skills and give me a deeper understanding of how to develop and cultivate long-term customer relationships. So fast forward, and then I decided to move more into community and customer marketing as a core function. At the time when I started, customer advocacy wasn't really a thing and
Yeah,
hadn't quite
totally.
taken off yet, wasn't well known or acknowledged as being a vital part of an organization. And so I think we've only recently begun to see this shift, and this role in the spotlight as orgs have really shifted to seeing customer retention efforts and customer led growth. And so, long story short, I ended up in customer advocacy because I realized I really wanted to be helping fine tune customer relationships and experiences. And the best way to do that is to be on the customer marketing front lines.
I totally agree. And every time I ask someone that how is it that you stumbled upon customer advocacy, and it just reinforces my faith in it that okay, yes, it's not just about a role. It's about someone who got into the same mindset of customer love, their connection, their creativity, their care. And now with this entire thing of customer marketing one gaining a lot of popularity and this whole AI thing that's shaking up the marketing landscape, I think it's a very nice blend of how we are turning this role into and creating that kind of edge within our role in customer marketing. I know this entire topic today is leaning towards AI, and I know a lot of people who have this kind of thing that oh my god, AI is going to take our job or something on those lines. But honestly, I don't feel so. And I just want to see what your thoughts are around these. AI is shaping many parts of marketing. And when we talk about from your perspective, where do you see the biggest impact specifically in customer marketing and how it's like reshaping our entire journey?
I am a big believer, and as is Canva, we really want to empower the world to design. And to do that, we want to enhance creativity. And we really see that AI is enabling our
Hmm.
community
Yeah.
to be more creative. And so, with that, we're able to come up with an idea much faster than staring at a blank page or get a document or a slides in shape that you then want to take internally that it's really becoming an accelerator to enable us to do our jobs more effectively. So I that is definitely like what I believe, and certainly, it stems through our founders, through our product. Like AI is we're very much an AI forward company, and everyone is trying out different tools. We have regular hackathons and trainings and different sessions that's really enabling our teams to think AI first and how we can take that busy work away to enable us to be much more strategic. So I really do see it helping to catapult us into a whole new space, certainly in customer marketing. I think it's a really exciting time to be a customer marketer as well and to be experimenting with AI. And also, I think it's also making our function even more important in this very AI noisy world we're living in, which I can certainly chat more about in today's podcast.
Perfect.
So I also see AI reshaping basically three main pillars in customer marketing. Belle kind of hit on some of these, but personalization, scalability, and insight discovery. But honestly, out of those three, the biggest impact I'd say is scalability. Right, with rapid speed and precision. So AI has essentially become a power tool for us. It really speeds up that heavy lifting so we can spend more time on relationships, right? The more meaningful aspects of customer marketing. Um, our team, so I want to give you a real life example. We've built several GPT powered assistants that pull transcripts, surface moments of positive sentiment, and really instantly generate advocacy assets for sales enablement from quote cards to LinkedIn posts. So, what we're seeing, the biggest impact I've seen of late is that AI really lets customer marketers create more moments of connection faster.
Yeah, I like that. Yes.
I think that's the silver lining, isn't it? Like AI is inevitably making us more human. And then being able to connect more with our customers
Yeah.
and our teams and drive strategies forward. So, yeah, I think that's a really nice positive side effect, if you will, of what AI is enabling us all to achieve.
Because constantly, yes, we all are talking about how it's making us fast and how it's so swift and things like that. But yes, this line that you mentioned, that more moments of connection faster, that definitely plays a very vital role. And also, I think like AI is like, and I'm very fond of analogies, so I would add something or the other. But yeah, particularly I think it's more like a sous chef kind of thing. But the seasoning and the intuition, the pinch of, adding whatever we want for a customer comes from the human side, and it's still with us. So it's a nice co-pilot who can draft a lot of things for us if we've taken it that way. If you're going to be scared about it, then I'm sure like we're just going to be worried 24/7. But that being said, I know there are some fears that AI could replace relationship driven roles in enterprise environments, especially where customer relationships can span multiple regions and teams. How do you think AI can help maintain that human touch, and especially across, let's say, large scale advocacy or customer programs?
So I think the bigger the org, obviously, the more risk for customer marketing to start feeling automated and less human. My one basic rule is use AI for scale for finding
Hmm.
advocacy intent signals, but let the team really own the emotional aspect and build the relationships, right? AI is being used a ton for automation, but it's important to have a human review loop for high impact messaging and personalization. So that's how you can keep it from feeling too robotic and fake. To put this in play today, we're looking at fleshing out a full journey orchestration at Canva this upcoming year, really digging into a CDP enriched with AI to surface behaviors, preferences, then orchestrate the right messaging at the right moment in their journey. And we really want to focus on a few high impact moments, adoption, renewal, instrument those workflows first and lean into personalization at the key moments.
I like that. That's nice. And
And
Mel, what do you think about it?
I was just going to say, like, to totally echo that. And that's why I'm so thrilled Crystal's on board to help us drive all this forward. One of our guiding principles at Canva is to empower our customers to create anything on any device and to then make each
Hmm.
experience feel truly local. And so that applies to not what only they design in the editor, but also how they encounter us in the world. So whether that's they see a paid ad or a case study or an event or a web page, or having a conversation with our sales team. So, as we are building our advocacy program across our global remit, we're really trying to be intentional about how that first connection with those customers in different regions
Hmm.
feels to them when they receive our first invitation or onboarding deck. So, um, we obviously know there are different nuances in different regions. What lands with an English speaking person won't feel the same way for someone in Germany, in France, or
Yeah.
in Japan. So we're leaning into Canva's translate feature that will help us localize those onboarding materials and then start to partner more closely with our sales team so they can really help refine that cultural nuance and make that invitation feel much more personal. And so I see AI is helping us to localize and get that 80% there, but then that final 20%, that cultural context, that's where the human comes in and that's when that personal relationship comes in and just helps the whole first encounter feel much more thoughtful. So again, that's where I really see AI helping us to handle that scale and then humans help us with that nuance.
Yeah, that's brilliant, actually. For example, I would say that AI would be the perfect way to keep humanity in the room. And while it's like taking your notes, being your pocket translator, regional strategies, language, all that can be, a part of all the strategy with intention. But then at the same time, I think the takeaway here from both of your responses, I feel that AI helps us scale that kind of awareness that we so long in our profession right now, because with customers across global demographics, we are not looking at just scaling relationships. We are building those, we're bridging the gaps between those, and AI is a perfect example to have that kind of empathy and emotion. So I like that. Tell me something. Now, Canva has become a go to tool for marketers. I live and breathe on it. I am not going to deny it. I am a big fan, big fan. But increasingly, we are seeing that enterprise marketing teams adopt it too. And just the way my organization has, I'm sure there are many other large size organizations. How is AI being integrated at a massive scale? I can understand it individually, doing a couple of things, but how is it integrated team wide and like global with brand management, content production, all those kind of collaborations.
Yeah, I mean, to answer that, I'd love to frame some of the challenges that our enterprise customers are facing today. And that's if you think about, thousands of employees in an organization, different regions, different languages, working in different time zones, but needing to deliver content very quickly. There needs to be a solution to help them create at that massive scale, but also to then create at that consistent level and ensuring brand safety, correct logos, etc. And then doing that within a secure enterprise platform. So everything's secure, locked down, single sign-on, etc. And then the last thing marketers or any teams want to be doing is switch between different AI tools and platforms and
Yeah,
tabs to get their work done. Like that is so time consuming. And so where Canva comes in is obviously we are an all-in-one tool where AI is truly integrated throughout the entire platform.
correct.
And we like to think of Canva as a creative operating system. If you think about it in three different layers, at the top is our visual suite, and that's what our customers see. Like when you're logging into the editor and you're deciding if you want to create a website or a presentation or a video today. At the bottom of that is our core platform, like that's the tool. But then what's threaded in between throughout is our AI layer, and that's truly empowering a lot of our features and functions to enable our community to really optimize and create their work more efficiently. I think a great example is our brand kit, which is like the
Oh,
cornerstone
yes.
almost of what our customers use. Our AI integrations can help teams automatically apply those fonts and colors instantly across hundreds of assets. So if you're a marketer and you're creating a campaign, you need to apply different brandings or sub brandings, like that work is done for you in minutes, versus hours or weeks. And another great one is bulk create, which then allows anyone to then resize multiple assets and templates in seconds. So AI is central to those features to enable them to operate really
Yeah.
quickly. And then suddenly, teams who would be waiting in creative queues for like weeks for assets from their creative team and can then create those materials way more efficiently. And they're, developing like 50 or 500 assets themselves. And it's that complete shift of how they can get their work done at scale. And
100%. Yeah.
I can give an example of a customer actually. We literally just filmed their story, Stripe, which was incredible in San Francisco, and we're building out their go-to-market campaign right now. Their performance marketing team has moved completely from that agency model to producing campaigns in-house,
Oh,
cutting
wonderful.
turnaround times from weeks to days, and really 20xing the content that they produce purely because we've given them a tool that their marketers can then use more
Yeah.
efficiently with all of the right templates and tools and features. So, the ROI for that, they've been able to create content much faster, react to the demands of different platforms that performance and growth marketers are creating campaigns for, lowered acquisition costs. AI has just been central to the features and functions that they've been using within Canva to get their work done. So I think at that scale for enterprise, that AI foundation is just unlocking that enormous efficiency.
I like how nicely you embrace AI in every aspect. Like, from the very beginning of this podcast, I've realized that this whole conversation is very positive, driven towards AI and how it can add that value. And I love the fact that you mentioned that teams are not just speeding up their workflows. Canva is actually, I would say, democratizing quality that's across teams. I love that. Apart from, the creative agility and having those kind of templates and everything. But Crystal, Mel has spoken about, different companies using it and how well they. What is your take on it? What do you feel?
So specifically, I mean, like you said, we are definitely taking all of these different platforms that we're using, right? And so I can name a few: Purebound, Gong, Champion.
Yeah.
And so it's really exciting to see how those platforms are changing enterprise teams, right? They are literally using it to move forward across, they're using it to move content across global
Hmm.
teams and automate that and have the same brand templates. And so we're just really excited to see how AI is reducing friction between brand and field teams while empowering those non designers, like the customer marketers the success managers and even advocates to
Yeah.
co-create.
No, I totally agree. And someone, I think even you might have done that, like spent late nights on tweaking slides and looking at visuals and then, wondering why don't we have like those basic templates or something as minimal as those. I think anything that saves a marketer's time is and adds that kind of quality in next to no in minutes, it deserves a different round of applause from all of us. But okay, so let's come back to customer advocacy. Now, personalization is everything. Now, how do you think AI is elevating personalization without making it feel so automated or robotic? Like, what's your take on that? And I'll start with Crystal now. Yeah.
Yep. So we are using AI to uncover why customers succeed and not just who they are, right? Mel kind
Hmm.
of touched on that. Like, let's go back to the challenges our customers face. And so I think you really have to understand where your customers are coming from and then tailor content around that, right? Again, like I said before, some teams forget to take it to that next level and stick to only using AI for automation, regardless of who the individual is, which leaves such a bad taste in a customer's mouth. Nothing is worse than receiving an email introing you to a product you've been using for the last year or asking you to do a reference call for a product or use case you don't even own. And we're all familiar with that, right? And again, going back for real life examples, our team, we use Peerbound and Champion for advocate identification and scaling, specifically around the speed of discovery and program throughput. We always, always, always add a human validation layer. So outreach feels intentional rather than automated. Our enterprise reference program, for example, we use AI to triage and recommend the best matched advocates while still giving us the final say on messaging to
Oh,
protect
yeah.
that authenticity. So that blend is essential and critical because customers will instantly sense a robotic or misaligned outreach, and true personalization only lands when
I
people feel
agree.
genuinely seen, not targeted or tracked.
Yeah, I agree on that. It's kind of cringe when you realize that something's come out of AI and no one's even edited it. Someone's just copy pasted the M dashes. Now, oh my God, my whole love for M dashes has gone down the drain because AI has made it so
Yeah.
evident now. But yeah,
That
you're
human
right.
that human review loop is critical.
And Mel, what's your opinion on this? Like, how do you think we could do away with the robotic thing?
Look, I think AI will help you obviously scale the communication, but it still needs that human touch. And,
Hmm.
whether you're delivering a personalized gift email to someone because you've done the work to understand that, they love coffee, they do CrossFit, and they have a dog, like you can actually you're still getting that human touch, but AI is helping you to deliver that message. So, I too have received those emails like, hi, name. And once your community feels like they're talking to a bot, I feel like you've just taken 10 steps back and you need to quickly rebuild that trust. And particularly for us as we are like building our advocacy program from the ground up, that human touch and contact, and certainly in embedding all of our Canva values is so core to our approach. So there are really smart ways that AI can help you scale the communication, but you still need to make it feel intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, and your distinction is so important here because while it is all about personalization, but not for the sake of it, having that relevance is something that a human can only build. Tell me something. What, in your opinion, are some of the misconceptions that most of us marketers have about AI in day-to-day work?
Yeah, I can touch on this. And I sort of said it at the start. I truly believe that, AI is here to, like, there is that misconception that AI is here to replace creativity. But my view and Canva's view is certainly that it's here to unlock it. And then we know that there is a lot of, as the work people are saying, AI slop out there, the poor quality of work that AI is generating. It's very bland, just the text that is spat out by agents. That does need that human review.
Hmm. Hmm.
They are getting better, but the huge advantage that I see for marketers is on that visual and creative side. So I'm very much a visual person. I can often visualize a post, as I was mentioning before, but get stuck sometimes like laying it all out. And Canva has built a GPT connector with ChatGPT, which has just been a huge unlock and a great place for us to start our creative process. I'm also now a big fan of doing audio downloads. I can just mind dump what is in my mind and here's what I want to create and then upload it into the tool and it will generate
Wow.
something that we can then start to kind of shape and really then add that layer of strategy and context, but it's just giving us that launch pad to creativity. So I really see that that's going to help marketers spearhead their ideas and their strategies to take things forward quickly. Another new feature that I'm loving, and I used it just the other day, is our Ask Canva feature, which is an actual AI powered design assistant in the tool. You can just like it's like your creative coach when you're creating something. I was using it the other day and I just
Huh?
make this look better, or I want a font like this, and it will actually suggest and then apply those changes for you instantly. Humans are still the storyteller, but what I love is that AI is helping us bring those stories to life much
Correct.
faster
Yeah.
and just in a really creative way. And then, as we said at the start, that unlocks time to be more human, spend time with your customers, spend time with your peers, and share your work with the executives. And that really then helps to reposition your function as a real growth driver in the business.
Absolutely. And I didn't know about certain features that you just mentioned. So yes, I'm going to take note of it because I didn't know about the audio part. Um, but that's brilliant because to add to your point, I genuinely feel that AI has the potential. It is enormous. It's rolling out a lot of ideas, a lot of, spitting a lot of content out there. But then at the same time, I think as humans, it's our responsibility to feed it with that kind of pristine lab grade data on how we want things, and then it can create those ultimate outcomes for us. So, yeah, you have that point there. Crystal, what's the biggest misconception marketers have?
I always get this, but I really feel that marketers don't get into their own co-pilots or assistants because they
Hmm.
feel like they need the perfect data before you start using it, right? Don't get me wrong, this is absolutely critical for accurate output and to feed your models, but you don't need it to get started, right? You just need a defined use case. You can train several small assistant models. We have 3 to 4 on our team that really helps with Slack messages, weekly reports, customer proof creation, etc., and upload metrics as we go.
Hmm.
Then, if you're running several co-pilots and assistants, you can actually train each one to do one specific task extremely well. When I created our customer marketing assistant, I started with X% quarter over quarter or X baseline with the
Hmm.
caveat that I would be uploading metrics weekly to replace those generic ones and to feed me back the updated version, right? And so I think that's something that has stopped people in the past from creating these assistants.
Correct.
Start with the use case first and then get your metrics and start feeding them in, but it will work correctly once you start doing that.
Yeah, so true. I think, yeah. So the goal is you can start small, you can start messy, but then at
Mhm.
the same time, you have to have that kind of purpose or some kind of vision towards your data. And AI would obviously accommodate and, look into it. But I just made notes on, okay, so the chat GPT connector, I would look into that, the audio version of it. I want to make sure that everyone right here who's listening into the podcast also gains out of those little things that you can make your day more productive. And a lot of times we have those kind of things that at night, I work at night on Canva mostly on a personal front. And I look at these slides, and had I not had templates or these little, help tools, I feel um it's just going to make you more frustrated seeing that, okay, now you're supposed to envision a slide, you're supposed to envision a design, the element, the moving things. And yeah, I think Canva AI definitely helps you a lot on even the content part of it. Like, I write something and I then say that, oh, can you make it funnier, can you make it shorter, can you make it more formal? These little aspects also turn your starting point into something that's not like hitting a brick wall and being all by yourself. Now I'm going to take a little futuristic approach to the podcast. Let's say 3 years from now, how do you envision your customer marketing methodologies, your ways evolving with AI by its side? And I know we're all very, very enthu about AI. So yeah, let's see what's your take on the next 3 years, how it evolves.
Oh man, I am very excited about this question. And I am by no means an expert, but this is my hot take. So, AI is going to sit quietly behind every key moment in the customer journey. It's going to power real time insights and generate website ad copy emails in real time. We're already kind of seeing this today, but not in mass and not like the mature advanced use cases I'm talking about. So let me put this in front of you now and kind of just imagine this. Imagine picking up a newspaper and the front page is different for you, Mel, for me, and for Aparna, based on our preferences, what's going on in our life, etc. And another example is more relevant ad moments, right? We already know the ads that pop for us after we discuss a
Absolutely.
product with someone or
Yeah.
look at it online, but this is really moving to what the individual is experiencing in their daily life. So, take for instance, I'm researching marathons to run, and there's an active listening occurring when I'm talking to a friend about Nike running shoes. When an
Hmm.
ad pops in the next hour, usually by now we're all conditioned to kind of scroll over it. It's like, okay, it's been listening
You
to me.
heard
We,
us. Yeah.
we expect that. In the future, I anticipate these ads are going to pop after AI analyzes my health data on my phone step counter or Aura Ring.
Oh,
And the last time I purchased shoes to say something more relevant, like, you've hit about 500 miles in your shoes. Here's some options. It's time to replace them, right? We're just at that tipping point with AI and CMA. And that's the real evolution, I think, in the next 3 years is AI as orchestration. You're going to see more mature CMA teams move from campaigns to those adaptive, seamless journeys using multiple AI models, agents, and systems all working together that adjust dynamically to each customer's content in real time, yet still feel human.
oh my God. I love that vision. While you were mentioning the whole thing of, oh, you've been using your shoes for this long, and I was like, yeah, why aren't we doing it right now? Because that's so spot on. It comes naturally and is more invisible than in your face. And
Yep.
it makes so much of sense. Yeah,
You're going to be more prone to looking at that ad at that time because it's at
absolutely.
the right moment. And so I think that's where we're going to be headed.
I like that. Mel, what's your take? How do you envision it differently?
Well, I mean, with that vision, I think it's exciting and scary because AI is just going to make me
I
want to
know.
shop even more. I'm going to be marketed with all of these ads, and but look, I think it is really exciting because yes, for customer marketing, it's going to it will just be seamless again and just underpinning every sort of stage of our function, which would be a total game changer. Two areas I see it advancing, and look, this is going to happen probably by the mid next year, or it's already sort of underway. But I touched on localization before because that is just top of mind for us right now.
Hmm.
Accuracy is obviously still a huge factor, and that human review is really essential. But AI agents are going to get much smarter, faster, and way more reliable, and will understand those local nuances as
Oh,
much as
totally.
a human does. So that would mean for like global, nimble, smaller teams can really scale with much more confidence and not just speed. And then just removing, once we start to build trust and can actually see that these agents are doing what we need, we can step aside. And for that to operate seamlessly, I think would be a huge unlock. The other thing I think is probably a bit more about, growing customer marketers and helping us sharpen our strategies. This is obviously already happening. I really see AI as being an incredible like career coach in your back pocket or strategic partner, if you will. But I can really start to see that AI will start to give us more than just generic advice to really advanced AI training to help us do our roles more effectively. As I mentioned, a strategic copilot in your back pocket, but it will be trained on like your sentiment data, your advocacy program results, win-loss programs, etc. We can start to feed it that information and it will then deeply understand our customer base. So it's not replacing our judgment, but it will just help us raise the quality of our work and help us make much smarter decisions earlier. So I think that is really exciting, as well as just making us be much more AI fluent in our roles.
Yeah, 100%. Because even right now, while we speak every day, I am adopting a lot of AI tools and not just keeping it to a surface level. I'm looking into, if anyone's tried Obsidian, it creates such wonderful mind maps. And it's like my brain. I have 10 different thoughts on, okay, dog food to buy next week, or this recipe to try out because my cook is on leave. And then, oh, this campaign, we can look at this. It builds everything together. It tells me that, okay, when you're looking at recipes, these are something that's a different mind map. Now, when it comes to strategy, it's different. I've been trying different agents, creating agents in Mistral, and the tutorial that I'm doing for them is through ChatGPT. So I'm writing those codes, putting it in an agent, making it more realistic to how close it gets to my kind of thought, my tone, you know, and everything's very different. So for social, it has a different avatar. For my writing or blogs, it has a different way of looking at things. So I think the more we adopt AI in a certain way and actually mold it to work towards it, it's going to change our coming years drastically. But I still like Crystal's vision on the ads and everything. Yeah, that's thrilling. Okay, now let's look at community led growth and how community led growth and advocacy actually thrive on trust. Now, what safeguards or practices do you think that we all marketers should adopt while going all gaga about AI to maintain that authenticity in our tone? You
Yeah.
want,
So
yeah.
ethics is a different podcast because that river runs too deep. But I would say transparency is very key. So being
Hmm.
upfront about AI assistant content programs. I've heard way too many horror stories where companies say they are customer first and yet have a bot or AI assistant responding
Yes.
and trying to replicate that human response, right? You brought that up earlier. So when there's an outage or a sensitive topic, that should be handled by an actual person and it's responded to by a bot with a generic response. It didn't fail because the tech didn't work. It actually failed because customer trust was eroded. And sometimes by 10x if it's seen on social. Sometimes people will screenshot it and post it, and then it's just worldwide. And so if customers feel manipulated, that advocacy absolutely collapses. And trust is really the currency of
Hmm.
advocacy. And so every AI workflow has to earn it.
Yeah, I think with AI, it can write your copy, but then at the same time, it's we who are responsible on how it represents that message and, goes out there. It's more like, yeah, we have a megaphone, but then at the same time, we need to be more careful on how the message actually amplifies a customer's pain or joy or surprise or wonder. Yeah,
I
what's your
think
take?
that whole scenario is just a recipe for a PR hailstorm. So,
Absolutely.
like transparency, as Crystal said, like that's a non-negotiable. And I think like there's this nuance right now that yes, AI can be that incredible accelerator, but it can't be the source of truth, at least not from the start. We've been talking about this, but I think we really need to feel confident, be able to stress test agents before we automate and actually trust them to be able to then communicate autonomously to our community. But as I noted earlier, like as soon as your community thinks they're just talking to a bot or they're going through a critical situation and they're just getting a generic kind of response,
No
you've
empathy.
eroded like 6 years worth, 6 months or more like of work essentially. Um, I think like we need to think about training AI as like you're training a new teammate. You need to give it context and brand guidelines and constant coaching and rules and really give it time. Like that is also a bit of an ironic thing. Like for AI to work effectively for you, you need to spend time on it and get it to be at that quality bar that you need. Like show it also what good looks like. So when you've delivered your tweaked and
Hmm.
polished your final output, I'm very mindful that uploading it into the agent so it then starts to see, well, okay, this is the level that I need to have things at. So look, yes, I think AI can only improve the more we train them, but it's can't be the source of truth. We can't just let it run free from the get-go,
No,
obviously.
actually, you're so right when you say that your point on how you need to onboard it like a new team member, because be it a new team member or AI, you're not just going to say that, oh, okay, good luck with the social calendar. We'll see you on Friday. Go ahead, do whatever you want. Yeah, you would train it. You would not hand it everything from day one. You'll fine tune things, you'll train. And obviously, AI can be corrected and so can humans. So it goes the same way, just the way you put it across that yes, it earns responsibility over a period of time, not instantly. Tell me something. So, Canva is known for empowering people with design, and now it's taking this whole journey to a new level. How do you see Canva bridging creativity, technology, and even brand advocacy to empower marketing organizations? So, on a personal front, I think, yes, we all are well aware, but how do you take it to enterprise level that we are speaking of?
Yeah, for sure. So, um, as you touch on, our mission at Canva is to empower the world to design, and that is everyone, whether that's a solopreneur building their first brand in their garage or a Fortune 500 enterprise scaling a rebrand, across thousands of employees. But at the heart of that is a simple belief, we aim to make complex things simple. And so the way we bridge creativity and technology is by making AI accessible to everyone in an organization, so not just the specialists. So then teams can create those high quality on brand assets in that secure environment, that secure platform I've mentioned, where those brand controls are baked in. So we have brand controls where the creative designers and directors can lock down elements. So it's really, creating that trust internally. Teams can't go forth and change things too much. So then brand governance stops being that bottleneck and really starts to become a growth driver. And of course, that gives CMOs and creative directors at the top that real peace of mind that their teams can move faster, but then operate at that scale without compromising their brand. And I think that's really the power of Canva today, that we're enabling every employee to become that confident brand advocate and then to do that safely and at scale. And that's obviously hugely important for an enterprise organization.
Absolutely. I think be it one person, people, large teams, mine as well. Like we are massive set of numbers who are looking into Canva every day and looking into this design. So I think your advocacy efforts come naturally if your work is smoother, your efforts are more in sync. Yeah, Crystal. If customer marketers want to start experimenting with AI today, where should they begin?
Yeah, so I think the biggest problem that marketers have today is that there's so many AI tools and there are so many use cases to learn from. You may feel like you have a good handle on AI one day with prompts and copilots. Then you hear about a new example from a peer, and I hear about that all the time.
Yeah.
So it can feel absolutely overwhelming. So I'd say start with a single customer tool and a single customer moment.
Hmm.
That could be your customer's renewal, your advocate onboarding, but choose one and run a 2 to 4 week pilot. Use Canva AI, Chat GPT, Claude, pick your poison, but
Yeah.
generate like varieties and then do the human review, A B test, and measure and lift. And if it saves you time and increases engagement, then adopt it and scale it. I think that's the power of tiny, fast AI experiments.
Yeah. I think it's very practical also. You start with one tool, one moment, one experiment, give it good 14 days, 30 days. And that's doable also. It's not like, overwhelming for anyone. Obviously, I like the beauty of how AI also gives you that instant feedback. So you get to know whether you're on the right track, you're not on the right track. It definitely, individually and for a team, I think it definitely improves a lot of your speed and your productivity because you also start thinking on those lines. It feeds you with an idea and then you can also build upon it. It's funny. Now I'm going to give you an analogy, but it just came to me. You don't start at a gym with all the machines together, right? You would pick up on that one particular one, get used to it, then move to the next one. And I think we as humans, You're right. I also talk to a lot of people about AI and I'm very thrilled to learn new tools. But then there are times that even looking at three or four, and I'm looking at three or four right now when I'm doing my work, I realize that it gets stressful
Hmm.
because something or the other keeps changing. They keep adding more features because they feel they shouldn't be outdated. And for you to keep grasping everything that they're throwing at you is not realistic. So it's nice to take it slow, and I'm going to repeat it again. One moment, one experiment, and one tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. So, Mel, and I'm going to direct this to you first, and then Crystal can take this up. What excites you most about this whole intersection of AI and customer marketing? These are like, I think this is the second last question. So, I want you to give it a lot of thought and then tell me.
I'm really passionate about this, and we sort of touched on it at the start. I think it's a really exciting and interesting time for customer marketers in this AI world that we're in. I think there's like two core parts to it, and they kind of fold into one, in my view. Number one, I think AI is really making customer marketing more essential than ever as a function in a business. We know that more than 90% of B2B buying decisions are influenced by peer recommendations. That's a Harvard
Absolutely.
Business Report stat that I refer to a lot in our strat decks. And look, I think in this very AI noisy world that we're living in, that authenticity has become the new currency. So, real customer proof is just that one thing you can't fake. A quote, a testimonial from a customer is so essential that shines a huge spotlight on the necessity, the need for customer marketing in business. And so at Canva, customer proof is central to how we win future customers. But with advocacy, of course, that's also how we're elevating and celebrating our incredible advocates who've been with us for many years. And then part two, another exciting side effect that I can see is how we've been touching on today is how it's really helping to amplify the impact of customer marketing teams. Because in a lot of companies, customer marketing and advocacy is still a growing function. There are these very small but mighty teams, sometimes one, two, three people who are supporting entire go-to-market orgs globally. So AI is giving these teams the leverage to be able to do things that they weren't able to do or took them far longer to achieve. So I think that's really exciting. That's helping us to move faster and experiment more and then unlock value for the business in a way that I really hope then gives customer marketers a bigger seat at the table, if you will. Both those points, like I think it's just this magic moment where AI and creativity and customer truth are in the spotlight, and customer marketers get to define what authentic marketing looks like in this whole AI era that we're in, where trust and real human stories are more important than ever.
Very underrated superpower, I would say.
100%. 100%.
Crystal, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna tap on to what Mel said and throw in an analogy here, but
Oh, wow.
like she mentioned before, I really love that it's bringing creativity back to customer marketing. We used to be stuck on the same treadmill and vanity metrics, like a really boring blank canvas. But AI changed the canvas that we're painting on. We're no longer stuck in this box, and it's giving us more flexibility, more innovation, faster tools, allowing us to get back to the root of it all, the colorful storytelling and deeper, more meaningful metrics that are really going to showcase the true value of our work. So, yeah, just getting back to that creativity and like
Lovely.
Mel said, yeah, showcasing the true value of customer marketing.
Good on. Like to storytelling, to originality, to creativity. I think we're grasping the craft pretty well with AI. So we're doing a fairly good job right now at the intersection. This is like my favorite question, and I've made it my patent question. I am planning to, edit one episode where I just add the best career advices and the worst career advices. So this is my last question to you. And let's see who's going to start first. What's the best career advice you've received in your entire career? Mel, would you want to start first?
I could definitely start. And look, truthfully, can't recall the worst. And that might mean that I didn't pay attention or I've just kind of dropped it and moved
That's even
forward,
better.
which is probably a really good thing. But look, I think one thing that has stuck with me that a former leader has said to me that Your network can be your net worth, but you need to nurture it. And what I took from that is, it's obviously you need to be able to then build those relationships both in your industry and in your org, because those people can potentially unlock doors for you down the line. And it's not just when you're in a role as well. When you're looking for a role, you need to do that when you're in a job. And that has really worked for me in the past. Like Canva and the role prior to Canva, I landed those roles purely through connections, through making contact with people. The role was not publicly advertised at the time. I was introduced to the CMO at Canva, and they were doing a pilot for a role, and things just happened like that. So I'm so passionate, I will say, to pay it forward to anyone who wants to connect and hear about, what life is like at Canva or how I got to where I am in my career, because I think you really need to build those connections. You never know when an opportunity might come up, and you might be top of mind for something that someone's
Absolutely.
planning. So I will always try to connect. And I think that is also something I love about this community, that customer marketers are always so open and willing to say hello and to share learnings and
Yeah.
strategies. So it's something that's really baked into what I do. So that would be my take.
Wonderful. All right. Crystal, I won't let you get away with not giving the worst career advice, but we'll start with the best one.
I will say the same thing as Mel. And listen, I was chatting with a previous colleague of mine, and I was like, I don't know what to answer for the worst advice. And I'm sure there's been a lot, but I definitely didn't retain it, which is good. I think that's something we all can
Yes,
kind of say, maybe
definitely.
we realize that that probably wasn't good advice. So I would just say take stock in who's giving you advice and trust your gut instinct on whether or not to take it. Specifically for me, my best career advice. Someone once told me, I'm sorry is one of the most overused phrases in the English language, especially for women, right? And so in many cases, it doesn't accurately reflect what the speaker meant, but it's used as filler, right? For like, pardon me or excuse me. And we say, I'm sorry, can I get directions and stuff like that. But a mentor once stopped me and told me not to over apologize for circumstances over which I have no direct control over, right? Over apologizing is really breaking down the credibility you've worked so hard to earn. So limiting your use of apologies to situations that are truly your fault will strengthen your standing as a leader and colleague. And so that really fundamentally changed how I interact with people moving forward and my apologies. So if I say I'm sorry to you, you absolutely know I am sorry and what it's for and that it was my fault.
No, I love this because it's so funny. My last conversation with Gianna from Champion, we were talking about how we as women, actually, we tend to over apologize and say, and even come up with things like, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm asking you this question. Why are you sorry? Just
Yeah.
ask the question.
Yeah.
And it might just be a very valid question. So please ask
Yes.
rather than apologizing. But yeah, this has been such a wonderful conversation. And I do feel that every time I sit with professionals from customer marketing, I realize that, customer advocacy has now gone beyond that being a function. It's more like an ecosystem, and we're building it together, where we're all trying to uplift each other. We are trying very hard to thrive in this one small community. I would say not small now. We're fairly big now, but yeah. Uh, Building on creativity, technology, and most of all, being human about it. This conversation has been nice because we've spoken of all the things AI can build for us and, bring into our daily lives and make our lives more productive. And I love how Canva's role in that entire evolution is so powerful. And we're not just looking at tools now, we're building that kind of confidence we have, clarity that we need, and the community that is putting all of us together in that one small circle.
Thank you so much for having us on, Aparta. And I just want to say one thing. I think with AI, Fei Li, she's dubbed the godmother of AI, if you're familiar with her, but she takes it back to how it is human. AI was built, there's nothing artificial about it. AI is built by humans, for
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah.
And it's really bringing back that human side and allowing us to bring empathy back into our daily interactions with customers. And so I think that's what I really look forward to with using AI. It's not taking the human side away from it, it's really adding to it.
I agree. Thank you
And
so much for building so much of optimism. And Mel, I would want to take a moment aside and clap, because your enthusiasm with AI has perked my entire interest in dwelling more into the Canva side and also the other side. But yeah.
well, we love to hear that. Thank you so much for having us. And obviously, we could have talked about this for much longer. So just thrilled to be guests. And thank you for paying it forward with this wonderful conversation and uplifting women and customer marketers. And thank you so much.
If you found today's tea piping hot, don't forget to stir the pot. Share it, rate it, and bring a friend to the table. Until next time, keep turning loyalty into leverage with me, Aparna, and the Loyalty Talks podcast.